It is, today's date, today's the 12th?
April 11th.
April 11th, okay. Are we recording?
Yes.
Okay, it's April 11th, 2024, Capitol meeting, Town of Whitman. Shall we set the pledge of allegiance?
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Did everyone receive the items that I emailed out yesterday and today?
Hanson.
Yep, so Kathleen gave us the 5-year capital plan from the town of Hampton. The most important piece on there, I think, was nothing from the schools. For 5 years, they didn't have any popularity.
Which means they were doing it at the last minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Kathleen pushed on there the Article 33, which we have adopted, and it's our charge for our mission statement. So it's just for everyone's reading. So I think we're in a position where all the articles that have come across for all the different departments, we have kind of agreed upon, and it's the school that is the items that we need to discuss. Is that where everyone feels like we're at?
So I would like to bring the STIP project up again, because we did get a lot more information.
We did.
A lot more information
Yeah.
from the DPW. So with that said, I wouldn't mind if you'd entertain a motion to recommend that the capital committee recommend that article for this town meeting for 316.
I would like to talk about that because I saw that presentation. It was kind of a PowerPoint slide type of presentation. There were no dollars assigned to it.
Did you share the DOT letter?
Just a total of 14 million.
14.8
14.8 was the total project cost.
And 1.5 million, 1.4.
Ballpark 1.5.
We're going to be 14% of that?
14% of the construction costs,
Right.
not of the total price.
So what does that include, 14.8 million? It looked like on South Ave they were bringing the utilities underground and a lot of, when they were looking for the eyeglasses.
I think it's pole relocation, not really utilities.
That I can know.
But it would be walking bike paths,
I had to change my
street
It
trees.
looked really cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
The safety improvements to the intersections, I think, is the thing that might get us the success rate.
Yeah.
I do.
I had to change my
And it's Article P8.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dropped out last
Totally
time.
wrong. Totally wrong.
Are you looking at the draft?
At the,
Draft warrant?
yes.
Everyone
And it
got
was
that,
on
right? Because
here,
Mary
wasn't
Beth, I think you sent it to everybody.
I did.
I think this was a paper copy that I received, I think, at FinCom. Article 16.
So I gave a draft warrant to the FinCom so they could start voting. They know it's draft and not final.
Yeah.
But I did include it as a warrant article because it was submitted. If it's not something that we want to move forward with, then I would probably delete it from the warrant. I think that we should, because we want to work each year, so if we have that money, we would never want to not receive $15 million. And I did have the Moody's rating call for the DPW building this morning, and so they asked us about, we told them MBTA, that's going forward in May, that this project for a whole redevelopment down in that area. And the third item is we've been contacted by 66 Pond Street. They want to put in a 240-unit apartment complex in Whitman. So all three of those
Who's doing
things.
that?
66 Pond Street, the owner there, Artie Meta, and so that's something that they want to come talk to us about. So all of those three things, all in that area, completely redesigned, that east end. That would just be, that might be very good for the town. So
think so.
I think this is an important project.
I do too.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Can I bring a comment that
Sure.
was surfaced, and we discussed it at FinCom on Tuesday night, that this looks like a perfect project for an override. It's a discrete project, as opposed to picking and choosing.
I don't disagree. I think so. That's really a FinCom thing, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm just conveying that the FinCom's position, it was
Well,
just
the
a quick.
selectmen, it should go to the-
Yeah, this is a perfect project for an override. It's discrete. People can say, we are going to get a lot of benefit from this project.
For a
if
capital override or a?
we didn't get Parsons.
Because yeah, I mean,
I would think for the amount of money involved, it would be a capital override.
yeah, just a 1 year. Yeah,
Yeah, a one-shot deal, not an overlay,
yeah,
a levy limit override.
yes.
We've
Which
already
year,
put some
though?
money away, right?
So we
Because the
paid.
taxes are going to go through the roof real
Yes,
soon.
they are.
And so we paid about $200,000 at last year's town meeting, or
Yep,
appropriated.
yep.
We're looking at another $300 this year. I know Kathy and I are pursuing a $500,000 grant that will be eligible for this project. So we'd be looking at only another $500,000 after this year's town meeting, if all of that is successful.
So $500,000 divided by the,
Between now and 2029, I think. So it is. Absent the grant, you need to do $1 million.
I was gonna say, that's
Yeah.
only if you get the grant.
It's only if we get the grant.
I wouldn't count on that.
And it's a design grant to help lead to a construction grant. So I don't know how the one stop will look at that.
Right. I wouldn't count.
Yeah, no, let's not count that yet. But it
The potential.
would
Yeah.
really alleviate some of the burden of this project.
which alternative are they leaning towards? 1, 2, or 3?
They were leaning toward the bike lanes in the street and then the trees separating the sidewalks.
So that would be alternate number 1. That's probably the most expensive, which is, I think, the most aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
And I thought they said that Mass DOT would have a lot to
Yeah.
say on which one we ultimately went with.
Right, because the construction portion, I believe, is run by Mass DOT or someone that they select.
So what construction, I mean, being a layman here and just seeing the civil work, new asphalt, utilities are just getting relocated underground?
Well, there's going to be sidewalk work. They're going to create a bike path in there.
Yeah.
Going to create greenery in the sidewalks.
Landscaping.
So it's not just landscaping, it's going to reconfigure the existing sidewalks.
The
Those
Pleasant
sidewalks
Street
by the train station were put in back in 2000 when they built
New terminal.
when the state granted us money to put the sidewalks in because of waters. Maybe a little after 2000. What is in that range? So they're extra wide sidewalks. They're not what we normally would have done. And they're going to have to cut part of that and dress it all up.
When you say extra wide, let's see this, let me just zoom in. So the sidewalk's going to be, in alternate number 1, it looks like the sidewalk's 5 foot wide, and there's a 4 foot barrier, a greenery barrier, with landscaping trees in there.
So that means it'll be a little wider than it is now.
Okay, and then a 5 foot bike lane, and then an 11 foot driving lane per side. I think
As
it'll
long
be
as they don't
really
put the
nice.
bike lane on the other side of the parked cars like they do in Boston. That's suicide run.
Do we have any opportunity to put any utilities underground? Or is that just astronomically,
don't know.
exponentially increase
I don't know.
the
It's a good
cost?
question. It would really increase the cost, but it's a good
But
question.
it would
It would really help.
It would make it really cool.
It might be something that National Grid would consider supporting,
If we're doing the sidewalks,
or we're doing
it would
the
be time to
sidewalks
do it.
because it'd
Yeah.
be cheaper for them to bury their lines.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all the equipment now. It would really,
I'm amazed we still put above ground lines in
I
Oakland. I mean,
Yeah.
if you picked a place in the country that's worst for overhead lines, we're it.
snow plow, snow, all the weather.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was my only question, and if you look in the presentation, everyone has the presentation, right?
Yes.
That vision portion where you're looking through the sunglasses, it shows no utilities, just street poles. That's why I
You are
asked that
absolutely
No,
question.
right.
you're correct. Yeah, the
And it's
streetlights.
beautiful.
It would be really cool.
It really is.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you look down after the alternative 1, 2, 3, that Pleasant Street, South Ave intersection redesign would just be an incredible safety improvement.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm all for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a motion, or did I hear?
Yeah,
a
so
motion?
I'd make a motion that we recommend this article.
Second?
Okay. Open for discussion. I got a motion and a second on the floor for recommending approving the article for the TIPS program. Open for discussion, Kathleen.
Just going to stick with the current Finance Committee's position that it looks like a perfect project for an override, and I'll abstain. I don't oppose it, but at this point I don't. I
Yep.
abstain from making it an article, from recommending the article.
Okay. Any other discussions? Okay. All in favor? Unanimously, aye. Okay.
Nope,
Good.
nope,
One
nope.
abstention.
One abstain.
And then just check in, Mary Beth, do you know how much free cash we have available? Because that's a $316,000 swing, so just want to check in.
So that's not, the budget is still changing
Yeah.
this weekend for sure. Just go into that and see.
So that was 6 yes and 1 abstain.
Yep, 6 years, 1 abstain.
Okay.
Were there estimations with these different alternatives? Because they weren't on this.
No.
that I have.
No, they're really in the preliminary.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a-
conceptual
yeah.
design. Gotcha.
It's a slow process to get these projects going.
Yeah.
A statement was made at the FinCom, while Mary Beth is looking, that this project would take all of the available funds that are usually used to parse out to different communities, and it's unusual for all of the funds to be dedicated to one community. Is that true?
I'm not sure.
We didn't
Yeah.
do that?
FinCom, between Rosemary Conley, Mike Warner, and Rick Anderson, there's a discussion about is the funding agency Old Colony?
No. So the
Who
funds
is the
itself is USDOT.
Okay.
And the funny thing is that the presentation, they did say that this is an ideal project for Whitman
Yeah.
because we haven't asked for anything.
And that's
Right.
another thing.
Exactly.
Never asked for
That
anything
was-
from what I read.
Yeah.
So, the likelihood of it being,
Right. It doesn't hurt that Dan Salvucci's the vice chair of the committee that approved it at OCPC.
Very nice. I love it. I think it's wonderful.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it would be.
I don't oppose it.
Yeah, so I believe it's the USDOT puts these out to state transportation departments. They set up the system where the local municipal planning organization sort of recommends them. So that's where OCPC gets involved. And I think Mass DOT either selects someone to run the project or runs the project. So it's a multi-agency effort.
so 746, 054, 48, is that where we were on our total, including the high school?
Oh, so that included the school articles.
So I think we need to decide, it's almost a swap if the school articles come off. There is still on my sheet here, 152,648.45, according to, what we've done so far. But what I would really like to do is leave tonight knowing out of all these articles that the committee has looked at, let's prioritize them quickly, 1 through 15, in case I do the budget and something has to go, I'd like to prioritize it without a doubt.
That was my second message from the FinCom. Please give us a prioritized list.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think we talk about the schools now, right? So,
Let's do that. With the information that Kathleen sent to me, and I passed along to everybody, where the schools aren't going to be, it's going to be passed over this year by Hanson. What's the opinion of this committee for the town of Whitman?
Are they passing over or are they deferring to the fall?
The
No.
passing vote from what I heard.
Nothing in the fall.
Nothing in the fall either.
Nothing about it.
Interesting.
I think
Then why
they're
would we tie up dollars?
Hanson's spending almost all of its free cash now to balance the budget, so they don't have the money
They don't
available.
have
Well,
Yeah.
Why would we tie?
well, we do have Whitman capital.
very few Whitman projects.
Yes.
There was one project, I believe, that
Yes, there were two
didn't
we
need
talked about.
technology at the high school
Right.
to operate. Or at least that was our interpretation. We didn't get
If
the
we
answer.
don't do the high school project, then we won't be able to tie in.
Right.
Right.
Was it the UPS that we were going to buy for Conley Duval?
I think so.
There were two
That's a nice
things.
backup system that doesn't require.
Yeah.
Is the core router?
Yes, Josh,
Well, that's at the high
And the
school.
core routers at the high school.
Everything
UPS
else
at the high
requires the high school
Conley,
projects get done.
Whitman, these two
Access
routers.
point.
One of those.
They still need the high school to work.
One at a time, one at a
So
time.
the UPS is really the only thing that would be an island.
Yeah, I mean, I get a bigger concern for me is the fact that they have not received, any award notification for E-rate. So, in essence, 50% of the cost of what they're requesting for, a good portion of this equipment would be half the cost. And where they haven't been approved yet, we don't know. There's some unknowns there as far as to. I think Gideon had mentioned that what they would do is go back and get quotes based on the vendor handling the actual reimbursement, where the district only gets invoiced for 50% of the equipment. If they get the award for it, they basically pay 50%. But if we're giving them 100% up front and they're only paying 50%, that's tying up the money.
I kind of thought about that over the last couple of days, and I think the thing we would probably have to do is vote an article that would allow the region to procure the equipment and then seek reimbursement for the unsubsidized portion of the bill. So they would have to pay it out first using their available funds and then come to the town for reimbursement of the accessible charges to us. We would still be tying the money up, but the article would require that we reimburse the allowable expense and the balance would then go to
Free cash.
well, I probably would send it to the capital fund.
Capital stabilization.
Yeah.
Am I delusional in thinking that you recently received an email from Gideon?
Basically, it was said that he was looking into the E-rates, and he would get back to me.
I sat at their meeting in November where there was an extensive discussion about E-rate and it really looked promising. And then there hasn't been another meeting of that particular group that I'm aware of.
Well, not to reel back, but I want to reel back a little bit. I think Mary Beth had a really great suggestion where we prioritize what we know we can prioritize. I think we defer or pass over the school as our partner is doing. And there's no benefit for us to approve things for the school. There really is no benefit. It's our money being held in purgatory. There's no need.
Well, I think I don't know, bypassing all of them. I think, again, I guess I see both sides of the fence, but in retrospect, we can't really do the high school fire device migration without the town of Hanson. We can't do the panel migration without the town of Hanson.
The chiller we can't do.
The chiller we can't do.
The UPS, everything.
Yeah, UPSs we could do at Conley Duval and Whitman Middle, but again, I guess we could do those, again, in relation to what Frank had mentioned, and how we, word the actual,
The thing with the UPS is, I mean, and this is really something that I do on a daily basis work with UPS. I mean, what is the vintage? What's wrong with them? Do they just need new batteries? Do they need a whole new UPS system? What's up with them?
they're old.
They're old.
They're beyond life expectancy.
Which is what? Is it 20 years or is it 7?
10. They're older than that.
I know they're older than 10 years. And frankly, my experience, at least with the smaller UPSs, is that we wind up replacing them every 4 to 5 years because they fail.
Oh, they become less
I
reliable.
mean, we put batteries in to replace them periodically, but eventually the unit fails and it's no longer the battery.
But we need accurate quotes. We need accurate,
And that's why I
what we
suggest
that's what we don't have.
we limit the language to reimburse and to reimburse a defined number based on what their E-rate allowance is.
I think
But that's housekeeping more than anything else.
I think with those, we can't make a decision without an accurate quote. I think they need to run with this with their operating budget and have a technician come in and do care until they can give us accurate quotes. I don't think we should just say, we're going to give you 75% of your wish list number. We need a quote. We need something to substantiate this.
I think, and Todd said at the last meeting, because he's breaking his back trying to accommodate and live up to the expectations of this committee. If we want quotes by October 31st with a little bit of fudge room,
Yeah.
but March, April, we still don't have quotes, then that's not fair to anybody else who has tried to comply with our request to get it into us in October.
It's not urgent to them,
No.
obviously.
Not to get off topic, but I received a call this afternoon actually, stating that the district applied for a grant, an ECF grant, May 2022, in the amount of $509,700. Was awarded that grant, but it had to expend the money, and the deadline was June 30th, 2023.
How did you get that? I mean, I'm not playing private investigator. Why did you get that?
Your guess is as good as mine. I got a voicemail today. I wasn't at my desk, and I played the voicemail back, and I was perplexed as to
The grant for $500,000 and they never acted on it?
So I gotta forward this information to the district to figure out what transpired and why the money was never expended for the Chromebooks. And basically, that's $500,000. So
Isn't that the amount of the override, 509,212?
yeah, I just
Right, spot
Within
on.
$500 here.
Did we even need the override?
No.
yeah,
The FinCom is working to
509,760.
see that that doesn't happen. That's why we oppose it.
1,416 Chromebooks.
Get numbers down, get some of the capital items deferred.
That's unfortunate.
The Chromebooks were paid for by,
CARES, I thought.
yes, like ESSER or whatever abbreviation it is, but they definitely funded the Chromebooks. It was like,
Did they also buy them in another method?
I believe the answer is no, because I was at those meetings.
I remember CARES, we had to leave so much
Yeah, I remember
money
that.
aside for the schools.
And it was for the
And I thought
one-to-one
it was for
Chromebooks.
Chromebooks.
But then again, I mean, we could have used the CARES Act for other purposes if, in fact, this was known. 509,000 was available. Could have gone a long way for other needs.
Very,
How can they get it paid for by CARES and another grant for the same money?
You can't.
You can't. That's double dipping.
Yes, it is.
So I don't understand it. Maybe that's why they didn't.
And
put it
most of
forward.
those grants require that you're matching funds, the municipal funds, not grant funds from another grant.
Yeah, but this
Maybe
wasn't a
that's
match. This was the Emergency Connectivity Fund in the middle of COVID. So
Well, maybe that's why they got the money from Opera instead, so they're not going to do it for that. because you can't double dip. They can't get it from both.
Correct.
But they could have purchased 1,400 Chromebooks.
They did not. It was one-to-one.
No, I said they could have purchased, this is what this emergency connectivity fund was for, 1,416 Chromebooks.
Oh, on top of what they bought with ARPA, or ESSER. I'd have to go back to the budget and see
Yeah.
what funds we
Yeah.
used.
I'm perplexed, you know.
Yep.
I'm
There's a
going to share that
puzzle.
information with the district, just to give them a heads up. Because the gentleman was looking for a response. I don't know, again, why he called. And not the voicemail for me, but pass the information along.
Did you say it was June of 23? You said they extended it to June of 24?
No, it was the big grant, the actual ECF grant was actually applied for May of 22. And expired, the actual term was, start date was July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. And they're following up now saying they just extended it to June 30th, 2024.
Oh, okay.
This is the last opportunity.
Can you forward that to Mary, so she has that? Is that an email?
Yeah, there was an email as well as a voicemail.
You should have a copy of that too.
I mean, it's a district, yeah, this is a,
It's
to
theirs.
Mary Beth,
Somebody needs to be able to
superintendent, but
follow
yeah,
up on
this
this.
is, yeah.
And the liaison to the schools as well, if you'd like me to take a copy and run with it. If you don't mind sharing it with me, Josh, I'd be happy to add that to my
Is that
ammunition.
something you want to share with Nancy's chair?
Yeah, I don't know if I had to send it over to the
I mean,
schools first.
it's public record, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think it should be.
It's been read into a recorded public meeting now too.
I think it should be shared.
I just think it's really odd that the amount is very close to the override.
I believe that's purely coincidental.
I suspect
That'd be tough to-
what's going to
be tough
happen
to line
is it's
up.
going
Yeah.
to be
So you're not that smart.
something that was a casualty of the
Oh, the breach.
the breach, and everybody's focused on different things, and it's just
But the deadline to receive the funds would have been like around the month of the breach. So the whole thing should have happened before that.
June of 23, the
Yeah, June
original
of 23
deadline.
would have been the time to receive it.
Possibly. I mean, Steve's still listed as the E-rate.
Oh, no, it was
The
22.
breach wasn't in 23, the breach was in 22, because
Oh,
I'm
you're
so
right.
tired
It
of
was in
hearing
22.
the breach. How long are you going to use that excuse? 1
and
year,
that's what I
okay,
think
2
we're going to
years?
hear, that, oh, it was because of the chaos.
Grow up. I don't mean you, Frank.
I know.
No, but they had to have followed up with individual.
Maybe. I mean, the things I looked at, the quotes you sent me, all the contact information is Chad Peters. He hasn't been around in a while. And I don't know if anyone's checking his email.
Well, same with Steve's. Just email it to, they have Steve listed, which is. So do we keep articles or remove articles?
Let's redefine our priorities and
Yeah.
put the schools at the bottom.
The FinCom is really hoping on Tuesday night to
Yeah.
prioritize.
Let's get that for the
Recommendations for-
FinCom. They need it, so let's prioritize
Good.
all the other departments. And we'll prioritize the school at the lowest.
You want to put them in a hat, or you want to identify first?
Well, I'm going for anyone who obeyed the rules. So, Todd, anything you want. Anything you want. Why would you penalize someone who did everything that was asked of, and then the other department heads look and say, hey, he didn't get anything by behaving, so why should we try to emulate him? Plus, I want the pool up and running. I want children off the streets in the summer and enjoying, hopefully, a nice summer activities program at the park department.
Sounds like a teaching moment. Okay. All right, so shall we prioritize in, how should we prioritize? 1 meaning it's urgent, 2 meaning it's close to urgent.
Well, I think what
One,
they
two,
want is
three.
an order of
Like they want
priority,
to
Yeah,
rank.
we want the rank.
rather than giving groups. What's first, what's second, what's third?
Per line item?
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's the way I would want to see it if I were the FinCom.
so we go 1, 2, 3?
Yep.
And,
And so on.
Kind of
So we
15.
run out of money.
okay, so the very,
Exactly, Frank.
so it's.
So what's the highest priority right now?
We have line items 5 through 31, so about 25 items, or give or take, maybe 20 items. So we're gonna basically prioritize 1 through 20.
Can I make sure I'm using the same document as you? What's,
Okay, so I have a document, it says capital request for fiscal year 2025, March 12th, 2024. Is that the one everyone has?
Same one I'm working on.
I am not. I'm using Mary Beth's fiscal 25 dual scenario budget, the tab that has fund balances. and-
That's where I am.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
do you
we
want
have
to
to-
share that with everyone, Mary Beth, and we'll go with that?
Oh, this
That's
is
a big
not-
one. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
it's-
not
Okay, so
current.
let me
You
share this one with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody should have this.
I'm
I
sure
do know I
do.
shared it with
I'm
everybody.
sure I do, Dawn. I have so
I
much.
I shared it with Rick, so let me just push it to everybody right now, man, just so it's top of your inbox.
All right, Frank, you got 5 minutes.
I know. Pizza's ready or whatever it is.
Salads. He's
Salad,
eating healthy.
sorry.
No, we having pizza tonight?
No, Frank.
He's ordered supper. He's going to get out of here in 5 minutes.
Looks like
Okay.
Kevin's going.
Thank you, Dawn.
Everybody should have that.
Capital requests. Yes, I do have it. I just was looking at the
Sure.
wrong document.
That's fine. Okay, let's start at line item number 2. Excuse me, number 3. Building department,
I don't have it yet either.
Just came in.
I'll wait.
There it is.
Okay, the four-wheel drive Chevy Colorado.
How old is the one that they're replacing?
Rotted, feeding through the floorboards, Fred Flintstone mobile. That's what I'm told.
It's old, but this is still more of a nice to have than the life safety gear down the line.
And a required, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Police look at all the,
Don, I think maybe if the chief gets his vehicle,
You're stealing my thunder here.
then it goes down to
Then it
the
goes down,
deputy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the deputy goes over there.
the-
That
think
only
that's a
makes
good plan.
sense, yeah.
Okay,
the fire department.
Yeah,
Yeah, so swap the
yeah.
swap the Chevy Colorado.
So we're not gonna defer that then.
I thought we were deferring the chiefs.
We were,
I think
but we
that's
have
not
the
this.
building on
But
there.
fiscally, it's more responsibility with that.
I think so.
I have the pumping engine deferred for the fire department, the new deputy chief vehicle deferred. That's what I have.
Yeah, but I think Todd's
That's
suggesting we reverse that and put the
And fund
deputy
the
chief
vehicle.
instead of the Colorado, and then hand the old deputy chief's vehicle down, which is like a
I
2016,
never got it.
Which is what we did last time.
which is what we did last time.
It's twice the money.
It is. We still phase out the old 2007 vehicle, and then upgrade the fire department
Yeah.
equipment.
Okay, so is that,
I mean, based on the demand for service, I have to think that the fire department is probably a
Absolutely. You didn't get it right?
busier location than the
in the building department.
Not to say that they're not busy during
Right.
the day, but it's a 24-hour operation.
Right,
Yeah, if we think we can spend the extra $40,000, that makes sense to me.
yeah. I say let's try that. Purchase it.
So we're making the 2025 deputy chief vehicle a top priority,
I wouldn't say top, but I would,
but a trickle-down effect.
yeah, maybe
Funding that versus funding the...
reverse the recommendation we had on the.
But I wouldn't make that as priority number one.
okay, so I'm just going to right now, I'm gonna create a column, whether it's needed or deferred. I'm just gonna put an N or a D. And then from all the N's, we'll prioritize it. So, the new 2025 deputy chief vehicle, 75K, we're gonna start that with an N.
Yes.
We're going to,
I think, I think we probably should change that to 2025 chief vehicle. She's going to pass his vehicle down to the deputy chief.
Yeah.
Okay, so
When did we buy the chief's vehicle? Because I remember Chief
A couple of
being
years ago.
telling he had to put all
Last
the
May.
gear in. It was recent. Thank you, Todd. It was new.
Okay, so we're going to defer the building departments, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to write where it says deferred for the new deputy chief. I'm going to say purchase for chief. For chief. And deputy chief vehicle goes to the building department.
Yeah.
Building commissioner or what department? Also the building department. Okay, so what I have is that I have under line item number 6, I got rid of deferred, and I put purchase for chief, and deputy chief vehicle goes to building department.
Yep.
Okay.
Why wouldn't our priority be the firefighting vehicle?
So that would be, I think, my top priority on
But
this
that's
list.
going to be funded out of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
appropriation for ambulance account.
Yeah,
Right.
we approved that using the inventory funds.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no way that we would oppose that.
So what I'm doing right now, Frank, is to say need or defer for everything, and then we'll prioritize just the needs. So that is a need. The firefighting gear. Okay, facilities. Replace 1 unit each for multi-rooftop condensing units.
And still defer.
That doesn't start until
Yeah.
fiscal 28.
So we'll defer that. Okay, recommend to approve is the next one. Pool house pump upgrade, so that's a need.
That's a need.
The next one, ground condensing replacement,
That's a need.
that's a need. Next one, the heat circulate pumps deferred.
I would love to do them because it would really save on the energy cost. It would be so much more efficiently run. We got 2 undersized pumps right now. One of them is actually in the auditorium.
Any word from Maya on whether or not they'll fund it? Or do we look at the,
We'd be too much on the
or
risk
do we
management.
look at the possibility of a community compact grant?
I'm going to be calling Chris Collins on the boilers. He might have heard from me. But as far as the pumps, it's really a no-brainer on that.
You can convince me.
We on the risk management grant from last year, we had all the pressure relief valves changed on all the boilers.
Right.
So this would be the next step to get these pumps changed out.
So what are we saying with the heat circulating pumps? Deferred or need?
I would go with need.
The only thing I would ask is I have it at 37.5. I'd like to round it off to 38 just to cover it.
We can, I'd be comfortable going need, but when we revisit priorities, we want to look at our free cash.
Right.
Because I know we need some to balance out this year's budget too.
Now, are these heat circulating pumps, I don't want to get into the weeds too deep, but are they on VFDs or are they just 100%
All those
full running?
specs.
You're on VFDs.
They are? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say,
And am I right in thinking the pool house pump upgrade is 21,000?
Yes,
And
Yes.
that's good.
we changed that last.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the last meeting, but the previous meeting.
okay, the fire panel replacement upgrade. Is that a need?
Yes.
Pretty high one.
Okay. Okay, Whitman schools.
Police vehicle.
Police vehicle.
Oh,
That
police
is the
vehicle,
police vehicle.
that's a need, right?
Oh, sorry, yes.
For the 68K, okay? Whitman High School, I would just say D all the way down.
I agree.
Yeah. UPS backup? Are we still
Yeah, I was
considering that
gonna
need?
say,
or-
all
If they don't have quotes for it, I don't feel comfortable doing
Yeah.
anything without a quote.
So what do we say about the 5 panel?
The Hanson's not gonna do
It's
anything.
not doing it.
All right.
Defer.
And that's $250,000 project. I personally think it should be engineered to see if there can be some savings. Okay, technology. Computers, recommended to approve 30K. Now, one thing I did get when I brought this up to the FinCom, they want to know where the computers go.
They really
If
do.
you could apply a list with this.
Never have and I never will, because we need to be able to place computers where we need to place them. It's not just to say like, we're going to put 5 in the selectman's office and 3 in the, things could change, and I'm not going to be, labeling an article of like.
Yeah, we shouldn't be hamstringing
Okay,
people on that stuff. That's,
it's one of the things
we
they asked me
wouldn't tell
for.
the chief where to spend his money within his expense line. I think the same applies to Josh. He doesn't know what computer's gonna go.
How many computers do we have in that town that are under your umbrella?
We're replacing computers. These computers here are primarily, there was such a large request from the library in relation to computers. A good portion of them are going to be dedicated to the library.
Is this like a rotationary basis where you would every year you'd probably just grab 20 or something new ones? Or
We're going to have to get on to a replacement cycle. We are not on a replacement cycle yet, but that's, again, requires money. And that's the long-term goal, is to get on a replacement cycle, so that we're on a replacement cycle every 5 to 7 years. But these computers that we're replacing are old, well beyond their life expectancy. Many of them are department head computers, because we transitioned to a thin client environment for the vast majority of our offices, so they're all on thin clients. But we have, again, department heads that have computers that are old, and they need to be replaced. So,
what is, Kevin?
So I want to weigh in here in that the initial interest in replacing the computers came from citizens contacting FinCom members complaining about the computers in the library. And then when we, on the FinCom, received a request to replace computers in the library, town hall, and police, it's like, where did this come from? And is there a plan to replace? And you said there
Computers in the
isn't.
library are newer than what Josh has.
That's fine, Frank, but I'm just saying,
true.
the FinCom was immediately brought to our attention from citizens who go to the library and were annoyed. So we were intrigued at the idea of supporting computers to replace the library computers, and then we get a request for 30 computers with 3 different departments, libraries being one of them, and we want to know how many computers will be going to the library. If you're buying 30 computers, how many are going to the library? And it's a simple question.
Yep. I'll provide that answer.
I already hear you. I've asked it 3 times, and you've given me the same answers that you're not going to answer me. So I have a
Can I
sense
ask
that
a
the
question?
FinCom is going to be a little bit disinclined to support it.
Are these to replace computers that are over 10 years old?
Yes.
And I think that's throughout the town. These are replacements that will go into a recycling program. Computers that are over 10 years old.
So, Kathy, can you do me a favor?
I think that satisfies me. It should satisfy them.
I think the other issue is we should have a replacement plan that's no more than 5 years.
Absolutely.
Because in that period of time, everything on the computer is end of life.
I agree.
I think this is comparable to the when Bruce presents the Chapter 90 vote, and someone at town meeting inevitably asks, "What streets are going to get paved?" I think
Yeah.
this is kind of the same thing.
Absolutely.
There's no good answer if he starts providing that list, because
Right.
people are going to,
Exactly.
if things change, it's just going to
Absolutely.
make it a mess.
I'll just say this is to replace computers that are over 10 years old, and it's new.
Honestly, we need more than that. But right now, we're
And they're not all going to be 10 years old, Don. I don't want to get hooked into that language.
Yeah.
It should be to replace computers that are
Outdated,
no longer
obsolete.
obsolete. Okay, that's fine. That's the language I will use.
I'm interested in the information that you received, though. I'd love to see the emails or the voicemails or the phone calls or whatever from people from the library, because that's news to me.
the computers are old, and that when people went to use them, they were frustrated. Some of them being senior citizens, some of them being parents of
Yeah,
little
I'd
kids.
just like to see that information because again, the computers at the library, as
This has
Frank
been
mentioned,
Stop and Shop picking out grapes. You're on the FinCom, right? Those computers in the library need to be fixed. I don't even know some of the people's names. It's like, how do you know who I am? I keep a pretty low profile. So honestly, Josh, there are very few identifiable people, but I had more than 5 conversations in Stop and Shop about the computer. Maybe there was a bad day.
Well, this was
Everybody got
from
frustrated.
Rosemary hit me up hard with this handwritten.
But it may have been initiated by my identifying the fact that people were saying, you're on the FinCom, can you do something about those computers in the library? I said, I'll bring it up.
Listen, I'm just the messenger.
Yep.
I'm just going to say to replace obsolete computers, period. That's it. We need to do it periodically. We need to do it every year.
we need to do it more often than we do it.
Yeah.
We should
We
be
need a
carrying
5-year
this in
plan.
there every year,
We need a 5-year plan.
right?
Yep.
Okay, let's move forward. The phone system upgrade,
Do you have any
30K.
Windows 3.1 left?
I've got an old one I can fire up for you.
I have a Texas Instrument.
Yeah,
I
I've
love
got an
this.
old IBM AT in the attic
I
someplace.
taught my kids how to use it, how to
So the phone system upgrades, that's a need, correct?
Correct.
What's that?
Okay.
Phone
DPW. Is everything, so the combined sidewalk and streets, we said 150. Typically, we ask them to carry 100 per year for both. And then we ask them, well, I think we as a committee decided to just squeeze that a little bit, so 75K apiece, right? So those are both needs. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Should we try to put the 100 if we can, removing the schools and,
Let's see where we're at the
okay,
end.
Yeah. There's definitely the need on some of the roads and
right,
sidewalks, but
absolutely.
that is, in my mind, a lower priority where we could cut it back partially.
Okay, the STIP program,
I think that's a need now.
that's a need now. Okay, we just talked about that, right? Wing plow, I think that was already.
It's
Wipe them off.
We already
Yeah.
bought it.
Yeah.
That was
So that's-
last meeting.
Delete.
That's off, delete,
Yeah.
chapter 90.
Although I don't think that's the correct amount there.
Do you know what the correct amount is now?
Yes, I do. Just go to the articles.
And it's separate funds, we don't need to.
Right.
Yeah, it's chapter, it's not,
I show 323,087.67.
323, again,
$323,087.67.
Sounds about right.
87.67.
Correct.
Okay. So I have 323, $87.67. So,
Correct.
I think we need to drop the cents from these things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's nothing but headaches.
let's just round it up to 388.
Zero. Yep.
That's what the IRS does.
Okay.
okay. So the needs. Deputy chief or chief, whatever we're gonna call it, that vehicle for firefighting. We have firefighting gear that's gonna be funded with the ambulatory pumps. So, all the facility stuff, except for the multi-rooftop units, everything else got approved. New vehicle for the police. I have the phone system and the computers. Both are needs. Let's see, DPW 75 and 75 need, and the STIP program about 316,900,000 need. All right, so how do we prioritize? I think the police and the police should be number one.
I think the fire panel should probably be number one.
Let me add a row then, and next to our need to defer, put a number in for our remembering them.
Okay.
Is that what we want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's first? Fire?
I would say fire panel would be the first priority.
Okay.
Okay. Police vehicle, 2.
Yep. Pool house and we have under the facilities.
We have fire vehicle.
We have the pool house, we have the ground condensing replacement, we have the heat circulating pump, and the fire panel for the police, which is already made number 1. So we have 3 items. We go on 3, 4, 5.
What about the fire vehicle?
It's an administrative vehicle. I'd still probably put it below the
Okay.
facilities, maybe ahead of the circulator pump. And then the computers is a need, because we need to get on a cycle for replacing.
Okay, so what was everybody feel comfortable with?
What's wrong with my list? What do you noticed?
Pool is number 3?
Pool's number 3.
Number 1 for me, and then the ground condenser for the server room at the old police station would be number 2.
All right, so pool
Okay,
house
so
would be
that's-
3.
So, Todd, just use 3, 4, because we've already
Yeah.
used 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So let's just go down.
What was number 1?
1 was the fire panel for the
Yep.
police station. 2 was the new police vehicle.
Police vehicle.
3 is
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
4 is the ground condensing unit.
Yep.
5.
We would do computers 5, then maybe deputy chief vehicle or chief vehicle 6.
Not heat circulating pumps.
I'm just basing it
I
off of
already
Todd's
have
thought he
heat
could defer it
circulating
if we needed
pumps.
to, but yeah.
Oh, okay, so
I'm fine with that. Let's do the computers 5.
All right, let me get there. Oops.
Can't do much without computers or phones, so.
Right, that's the thing.
5, 6. So for technology, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we make the fire vehicle for the chief 7?
Yeah.
All right, let me go
Fire vehicle chief
7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
My supper's ready.
Yeah.
Heat circulating pumps would be 8.
Yep.
Then the DPW is the
Wait a minute, I'll go up there if I could.
final ones.
Okay.
Heat circulating is 8.
Then we have the DPW stuff, the roads and sidewalks. 9, 10.
Well, let's see which ones.
Concrete is
Chapter
going to be
90
sidewalks.
stands alone.
Yeah, concrete sidewalks, asphalt engineering roads. And then STIP. How do we rank those 3? One is really like a 10-year project and the others are immediate fixes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think STIP, if we put the money off, we'd have time to make it up, but the budget doesn't necessarily look good
Yeah,
in the out years.
right.
Make it half a sidewalk.
Yeah.
So 9, 10.
I've got 9 for the roads, 10 for the sidewalks,
And then 11 for the
11 for the STIP.
So the engineering, asphalt signage engineering is
9.
9. And
I don't want to be obtuse, but where is roads versus sidewalks? It's in a combined.
Concrete versus asphalt.
They were poorly
Concrete.
named.
Okay, concrete
lines.
is the sidewalk.
That's correct. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's 9, and then roads is
Nope,
10.
nope, that would be 10.
Thank
9
you.
would be the asphalt
Got it.
signage engineering, which is the roads.
Got it.
concrete is
Is it all of our needs?
Sidewalks is 11.
STIP would be 11.
sidewalks is 10.
No.
Oh.
Asphalt signage, concrete
Sidewalks is a
is 10.
separate.
Combined sidewalk, street repairs doesn't have.
No, that's, there, excuse me on that. So, line item 26, which says asphalt signage engineering for 100 grand. We
Yep.
reduced that to 75.
Right.
That was for roads.
Yeah.
Right.
Next line item, 27, asphalt
Yeah, that is-
signage concrete,
Yes.
100 grand. We reduced that to 75. That's sidewalk.
That sidewalk.
The next line item, I just merged the two and said, okay, it's only 150 for the stuff above.
Oh,
There's not 3 line items for the
Thank you.
DPW now.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
So 9, 10, and 11 is step.
that's how I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How did that get into?
So what was 8?
8 was heat circulate costs.
Right.
yes. And the firefighting gear didn't get a priority because it's being funded by a different
Inventory
agency.
funds,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Same with the wing plow.
It's
That's
all-
already
no,
been
it's been
funded.
bought.
That was already bought.
It was
That
bought
was
back in October.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go delete, I'm going to, so if I go total,
What do you come up with, America?
Let's see. So do we have now for a total 725 by 3352?
Just looking at free cash.
Looking at your sheet, Dawn.
hold on one second.
Right, let me look at the other.
And slightly more than we estimated when we did this.
I've got
I have 823.43.
I have 503,443, not including the STIP program. So if I add in the STIP,
I think I'm gonna be about the same.
I have 820,343.
No, I
Right.
1.3 and change in free cash.
1.378, 756.
78. We spent 820 here. We're looking at, what do you think, 150 to finish out this fiscal year?
Right now it's 164, but I'm trying to.
I did
lower that
819,
down.
340.
820,340 because the pool is 21,000.
Yeah, pulls up 1,000.
So
Oh, okay.
And Todd rolled up the circulating pumps to 38.
Yeah,
yes. And what was the free cash? 1,378,756.
correct.
And did we get rid of the technology stabilization fund that doesn't exist? Because I have that.
Yeah, what was the story on that?
Yeah, there's nothing there. I don't, it was something on the accounting, sorry, but I finished up the job on that. I noticed,
That actually isn't something we need to talk about here.
no, there were a couple of things that I noticed, that I spoke with John about today, for articles that were carried over.
So it'll give us 558 in free cash.
Yep, that's what I get, Justin.
Use about 150 to balance fiscal 24.
But we've used free cash for other things other than capital.
Hey, I'm going to make a motion to set the priorities as discussed. Fire panel 1, police vehicle 2, DPW signage and concrete No, scratch that, I'm sorry.
Pool house.
Pool house 3, condenser 4, technology computers 5, phone system 6, chief fire vehicle 7. That's
Yep.
Yep,
heat circulator pumps 8.
yep.
Roads.
DPW signage and concrete, I'll combine those as 9.
I'll call it 9A and 9B.
I've got 9 and 10. Well, I've got 9 and 10.
Okay, 9 and 10 is fine.
Yeah.
And STIP program 11. Where's the police car? Did I say?
We,
Yeah, I
we,
did.
it has a priority.
Okay, I did. I just,
That's number 2.
yes.
Fire panel is number 1.
I think we all agree.
So that's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and this is to approve the prioritization of these articles. Open for discussion?
Just say as we watch how much free cash we need elsewhere in the
Right.
budget, this
We'll
looks like a
adjust.
good list to me.
It does look a good list, and then we can adjust it as needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Starting from the bottom up.
Right.
Okay, so any other discussion? Josh?
My only other concern, I guess, is we're putting systems ahead of. We're putting the pool house pump upgrade system ahead of our systems that we depend on every day to be able to operate these.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, and I agree with the concern, but we're not imminent risk right now, at least we don't appear to be. Whereas the pool is a seasonal thing that if we don't maintain it, we can't open it. And I think that more directly impacts the public than almost anything else we do here. And I would like to keep that as a priority.
Well, I'll second Frank's feeling to that.
Imagine what this town will be like this summer with no pool.
The library.
Our library, but that's.
The odds are
that's
we're
off
gonna
the
get to
table.
5.
No, I just wanted to speak my piece and make sure that it was heard. You know?
No, that was good.
Good point, but
Let's hope it doesn't come to
there are
that.
constituencies who are sort of under the sub rosa, we don't pay attention to them, like Council on Aging, like the library, the smaller departments who serve people who don't talk a lot. They don't complain a lot, they aren't unionized, and so they rely on other people to advocate for them.
They
I
need
think
to take a lesson from the graduate students in Boston.
Okay, so are we voting?
Yeah.
We did that.
Okay, any further discussion? No?
I'm good.
Okay, shall we take a vote? All in favor?
I'm good with it.
All ayes? Okay, unanimous. Okay, I am going to forward this to Rick Anderson, as he requested, the priority.
Thank you.
When's your next meeting, Kathleen?
Tuesday
Tuesday?
and possibly Thursday.
Okay, I'll push it out to probably tomorrow,
That'll be fun.
then you have it.
I have it. I will report back to him tonight
Okay,
and let him know where we stand.
okay. Do you guys need me at that meeting or not?
I think not.
Okay, even
You're
better.
welcome to attend. You're all welcome to attend because I know
You're awesome, thank
if-
you.
if you have nothing better to do Tuesday night at
I will.
7.
I'll push this out to everybody. I just gotta get all the numbers to work so we know what the bottom line is. Okay, with that, did everybody have an opportunity to read the meeting minutes? We haven't approved any in quite a while.
Actually, I'll make a motion to approve the March
11.
meeting minutes.
And I wasn't there, so I'll be abstaining.
Let me think which ones they were now.
The 11th and the 28th.
March 11th. We had prepared them and then sent out an updated copy, and I'm making a motion to approve. And it says resubmitted.
The edits are in there, so good.
There's a motion to...
Second.
Okay, Todd seconds. Open for discussion. Any discussion on them? Okay, all in favor? To approve these 2 meeting minutes? Okay.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay.
So
Make a
March
motion
11th, March
to approve the March 28th meeting minutes.
March 28th.
Wasn't it the
I thought you
Yes,
said the
28th.
11th.
The first one was the 11th.
Right.
Kathleen, you were the
I was-
28th.
I was at the 28th. I only missed one meeting.
Right, yes.
I second.
I called in for one, so, but I was
Yes,
there.
yes, Fred chaired that one.
Yep. Okay, there was a motion by Frank and Todd seconded.
For the
Open for
28th.
discussion for the 28th.
Yep, I'm
March
fine with the
28th.
I'm fine with the 28th.
No comments, okay. Vote to approve? Unanimous, okay? Excellent. Next meeting, shall we have another meeting?
Do we do one more time meeting?
I don't think we need to have another town meeting, another meeting.
Tell me. One time.
May I make a suggestion that for our next meeting, we will rely on the call of the chair?
Okay,
What does that mean, Frank?
It means that the
I'm so
chairman
tired.
will notify them
I'll send out a...
when the next meeting is needed.
Can I ask a question? Because some of the wording in some document that I've read talked about, maybe it's the warrant, that the capital committee will be making recommendations on the floor. Is the capital committee asked to make recommendations on the floor?
Well, that was our last meeting. We
Yeah.
talked about
I thought when we talked about the schools...
the schools and we weren't prepared
Right, we weren't prepared.
to respond, but that can be taken out, I
I
believe.
think so.
Well, I think it was in, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going by memory, but I think that was if the school pushed the article without the capital approval. You wanted me to go up there and voice the committee as a whole's opinion.
Well,
The reason why
still-
didn't approve.
We still face the reality that the school has submitted articles
Yep,
that will be appearing on the warrant that we don't have the authority to remove.
Okay.
but we can speak on it.
But should the town meeting, and I think the appropriate way to handle that is one of us should make a motion and pass over as each of those articles come up.
Yep.
And maybe on the
Okay.
first one, the moderator will permit a discussion as to our thought process.
Okay. When is town meeting?
May 6th.
First
May
Monday in May.
2 weeks from Monday.
Oh,
Cool.
2 weeks from Monday?
2 weeks from Monday. Right? No. 3 weeks from
3
Monday.
weeks, Monday, yeah.
please.
Oh. We got a lot of work to do.
We have the AED over here, Mary Beth.
3 weeks from Monday. When will we know if the school is putting these articles on the warrant?
Well, hopefully if we can communicate with the schools after this meeting, we can say, here's what we've done. Are you willing to withdraw the articles to a later date? That would be helpful, although 3 years ago, I hate going in history, we did speak with the superintendent and removed a number of articles, and a member of the school committee was in a real tizzy about the belief that we had no right to do that, the superintendent had no right to do that, and that the school committee should have voted to withdraw those articles. And at that time, when I'm pushed into a corner, I push back. My response was the Board of Selectmen has an absolute right to present the warrant. Now, if somebody wants to go to DOR for a legal opinion, I suspect DOR would say you have to publish.
You have to publish the article.
I'm not convinced they will. It depends on who you ask. If you ask Kathy Caleri, she'll say you're okay.
10 lawyers, 10 opinions.
Did you want?
But she said,
Two things. So we have gotten some articles, and in the past, when we used ARPA or found another way, we just didn't put them forth. So the vehicle for the building inspector, I would say we don't even put on the warrant.
right, and that's a different issue because the building inspector is in a district committee.
Correct. And the other thing is on this STIP, we do have the comment, insufficient information, capital committee will make recommendation on the floor. I'm taking that out and saying that we voted to recommend.
We voted to approve.
So we leave the school articles, just to be clear, I leave all the school articles on the warrant as they were submitted
You know,
by
if
the
you want to keep it
district.
clean, just leave the recommendation off, leave it blank.
For the school articles? I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
So don't even put capital committee on there at all. Okay.
because
that's fine.
capital committee isn't prepared to make a recommendation right now.
I think it should probably be the capital committee, made a conscious decision to
Defer.
not even defer, to go over, to postpone.
Based on.
Tell me what you wanted to read, capital committee, and I'll put it on all articles.
No, we're not recommending.
Yeah, we're not, I just think that's probably the best way to keep it clean and
Voted
sweet.
to not
We are
recommend.
not recommending any articles from the district.
And I'll put that under each one.
And you'll get asked to explain the first one, probably,
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
But then we also approved fire department vehicle. So for whatever reason, if the school's articles get voted and approved, that fire
then we're-
vehicle has to be
A lot more has to be
because-
changed.
Yeah, well,
It's not just that. If we put those on and they don't want to pass over them, and those get voted, that $311 has to come off of something else right there.
It's probably the
Well,
STIP.
and that's when the town administrator gets up and says, here's how we funded this. Any change you make is going to require us to take something away from
Well,
someone else.
absolutely.
Yep.
And I'm gonna obviously maybe behind the scenes have some type of idea on that because it's gonna have either that or it's gonna have to be done on the town floor and it kind of seems silly that we're gonna.
Well, I don't think the school's going to push for capital articles when Hanson is even putting them on that
Yeah.
warrant.
It would be a stupid
That
argument.
would be political suicide for them.
Yeah.
Because, it would make them look very foolish if we were to stand up and say, we don't feel there's any reason to vote this because the corresponding appropriation is not going to be acted on. Why would you commit these
Why would we
funds?
tie up these monies?
Is Hanson putting articles on their warrant and passing over, or I
They're
wonder
not putting anything on, nothing on warrant.
Nothing on the warrant. by
Hanson's
choice.
town council takes Frank's old opinion that they don't, that the selectmen have
You
nothing
know,
to say.
it's a good fight.
Yeah,
Well, I'll fight it, but I want to win.
Yeah.
Well, the fighting.
Michelle would probably back me up. No, maybe she wouldn't.
I guess that's a good question. I mean, do we know, or are we just making?
That's what I want to know.
They-
I
I
want to
mean,
know for sure, so I'll
they'll be
ask
posting their
council.
warrant, yeah.
Yeah.
But I need to get this done now. Like, I need to get these articles off to council. And, final ones, the board's voting on them on the 23rd. We're having them printed the
We're
next
double
day.
meeting in order to meet the deadline for a finance committee recommendation to make it into the printed warrant.
I'm sorry?
We are meeting as many times as we need to.
Right.
So that the finance committee's recommendations are printed in the warrant.
Right.
That we're not standing up at town hall, at town meeting saying, FinCom voted 8-0 to
That's why we
support.
gave you the draft, right? so
Yes,
we can
thank
get
you.
started on all that.
Yeah,
so hopefully-
which is what is our homework for Tuesday.
so if the schools do post on the article on the warrant, then would we then meet to say, okay, if they do vote on that, then what are we gonna take off?
We go by our priority list, I would
Would we,
think.
would we?
They're not
meet
on the priority list.
Right, would we meet on the chairman's call, have a meeting, once we know
We
what's
can-
gonna be on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think our charges dictates our role. If our opinion doesn't matter, and it's the will of the people to continue to
Hey there.
fund this. I think, we should dissolve.
We've done our
We
job.
should dissolve because it means nothing.
You know those calls you get at home from people
Oh,
that
we're worrying about
you
something
say, I'm
that I
done with
honestly
work
think
and
isn't
why
going
is
to
this
happen.
jerk
I
calling me?
agree with you.
This is one of
Could I
them.
ask a quick question though? Because I'm reading Article 33.
Yep.
I am,
I have a question for you.
and it's my sense that Capital
Is
Committee makes recommendations to FinCom, and then FinCom makes recommendations to town meeting. So you don't actually,
I think it's
We
capital
don't.
committee makes recommendations to the selectmen, not to FinCom.
well, I'm reading Article 33. Committee shall meet with, the committee being the Capital Committee, shall meet with the Finance Committee.
But I think we make the recommendations to the selectmen. Is that correct?
Well, I'm reading Article 33. In preparing for annual appropriations, the committee, Capital, shall be available to meet with the Board of Selectmen if the board so desires prior to posting the annual town meeting warrant in order to review, add, or remove articles from the warrant. The committee shall meet with the Finance Committee with sufficient time to allow the Finance Committee to review and make its recommendations on capital requests. So I believe that this committee makes recommendations to the Finance
just
Committee,
like
and then the
that.
Finance Committee
I
makes
don't know if you got my
recommendations to
question,
town meeting.
repeat it.
Just reading Article 33 that was passed.
I thought it was the other way. I thought it was, we reported our findings.
Okay.
Pull that up.
We also
I sent
All right,
everybody
that's all I
Article
need to
33,
know. I'll catch up with you later on one. Thanks.
mainly because I want the
All right,
5-year plan.
Hanson's warrant will not contain any capital articles for schools.
And they just did that on their own.
The capital committee said you didn't comply with our requirement,
There you
They've done
go.
that in the past.
There you go.
and we're not putting it on the warrant.
If they did that in the past with no issue.
The school committee complained about it, but they
I assume so.
feel confident enough to do it again. So
Well, I just like, I guess we just need to define the.
This is the way we do it. You notify Jeff tomorrow that the capital committee, based on information that Hanson is not placing capital warrants for the district, it is our intent to remove them as well.
And not even mention lack of quotes or anything
Right.
else, just leave it at Hanson's not doing it.
My other fear is, I guess there was some mention before, might have been last year, where the district could include capital as part of their assessment.
No.
that is in the regional agreement,
Yeah.
but it's never been acted on.
Regional agreement needs to be reworked.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the
Oh
things
my
that
God.
I think Kathleen and
I
I
am
both
pulling
flagged.
my hair out.
Yeah,
And I said that would be a horrible thing, so we,
but that is the way that South Dakota Tech and a lot of other regional school districts
But
fund
you
capital.
can reject an assessment by not approving the amount.
Correct.
And that's the way we would handle it at town meeting. Then if they did that, it would result in their entire assessment being rejected.
Correct.
Because you can't change.
Which is why
the
they've never
number.
done that.
You can either vote it up or down. And if you don't vote it exactly the way they submitted it, it's rejected.
Can I just, for clarification, Justin, what do you have? 501-943.25 before the Chapter 90 funds?
So I only have the total with the STIP in there, and that includes Chapter 90.
I've got STIP, but I don't have Chapter 90.
So I had 820, 343.25.
820,
820343.
820.
Without chapter 90.
Correct.
Without Chapter 90.
Correct.
Or the firefighting care agreements also.
Right, it's funded.
Only free cash funded articles.
Perhaps it should be headed articles to be funded by free cash. To remove the confusion
Oh, okay, I know.
as to the recommendation. So how are we going to do this, Mary Beth? Are we going to have a capital article that will list all of the following appropriations? I feel instead of having individual articles from the departments involved,
that's how we have it now.
I'm wondering if it would be a cleaner process to simply remove all those articles and put a capital article, the capital committee requests the following appropriations.
But what if some wanted to pass part of it and not?
I think some of them, the explanations are helpful. Why we need a fire panel. How
No, I like that. Then
Yeah,
they
I'm
pass
just
them all
thinking
at
of
once.
brevity.
Yeah.
Right,
You're saying one article that has
Yeah.
encompassed them all?
Yeah.
yeah.
Town of Whitman capital.
We
plan.
did that one year.
Did it work?
Nobody, well, we did bifurcated, come to think of it.
Oh, okay. Right now, I have them all individually listed.
Well,
By
we can
groups.
group them.
You have the facilities directors,
His
Requests
is
are grouped.
like 3, right,
and then the rest are individual.
yep.
You can
Because
group
that's how
them
he
in one
submitted
area
the
of
article.
warrant. You can then put a heading, capital committee recommends the following article.
We've done that before with technology. Instead of doing a single article, we did one article with.
Yeah, mine was like that last year.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep,
To go
right here, you
over
have your
mine,
3.
I'm just thinking in terms of if we do that, we're sending a message that if you want your capital articles to be acted on, you need to submit them to the capital.
Can I just get into the counting real quick, just so we're all in sync? Line item number 6, which we have, is 75,000, is that what everybody has?
Yes,
And that's also priority number 7.
yes.
Right.
Line item number 10 is priority number 3 at
Yes.
20,000?
21.
21.
21, okay? Hold on. Why do I only have 20?
Initially, it was 20.
Last meeting.
Okay, hold on.
You were at the last one.
We
Okay.
changed it last meeting.
Can you
Okay.
phone in?
You
Number,
didn't take your phone notes.
Yeah.
line item number 11 is priority number 4 at 14,000.
Yes.
Yes,
Line item number 12, priority number 8 at 38,000.
yes,
Priority number, line item 13, priority number 1 at 47,000.
yes.
Line item 15, priority number 2 at 68,140.25.
I took out the 2.5.
Yeah, we're gonna round up or round down.
Okay.
So we're taking off the
68.
25 cents?
Yes,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
can throw it in for Mrs.
We'll collect change for people going into meetings.
Okay, then I have line item 23, technology computers. It's priority number 5 at $30,303.
30,300.
300, you got rid of the $3?
No,
I bid.
no, because you multiply 30 times the quote that
Oh,
Josh had.
okay.
Yeah.
So what do we
All
do?
right.
What's the,
So-
I mean,
30,303.
well, we can negotiate.
30303.
that's what I have.
I just want us to all be in sync.
The
Yes,
vendor
I agree.
might accept a $3 discount.
Yeah, line item 24 is priority number 6 at 60K.
Yes.
Yeah.
Line item 26, priority 9, 75K.
Yes.
Line item 27, priority number 10 at 75K.
Right.
And then line item 29, priority 11 at $316,900.
Yes.
So totaling $820,343.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, this is what I'm going to email to Rick right now. As big number.
Okay.
Someone get your pizzas for you?
It's not pizza.
Salad.
Oh,
It's not getting
pizza
cold.
every
It's
Friday.
not getting
Salad's
cold.
key.
It's a
Not
salad.
Friday yet.
No, I can't think today is Friday already.
Alright, so what are we doing?
Okay, so I'm going to email this to Rick Anderson for his records. Okay, so Kathleen wants to go over the last thing, hopefully this is on the agenda, is the Article 33 admission for our adopted charge statement. And I think everyone can pull it up if you don't mind. Save as, and we'll put this. I'm going to email this to everybody too.
I think you emailed it to us, all of us, earlier today.
Yeah, but it's the revised one.
But
The revised
Oh.
Article 33.
Oh, no. The spreadsheet.
Revised.
Okay.
Who has already voted, he mean revised?
There's a vote of few.
All right, so now the the articles. Okay, so so the portion that I thought was that we report our priority and what we agreed upon to the selectmen, but we, as a courtesy, go over it with the finance committee. But Kathleen bringing to my attention that the finance committee actually approves this. Is that what we all understood this to be?
Approves what?
Approves our, they actually go through our capital, what we approve.
I think
They go
it's
through
a
it
choice of words. They don't approve. They recommend, we recommend, town meeting approves.
Yeah, the way that the article is worded, it's the last paragraph that I'm referring to. In preparing for annual appropriation, the committee shall be available to meet with the Board of Selectmen if the board so desires prior to posting the annual town meeting warrant in order to review, add, or remove articles from the warrant.
Right.
The committee shall meet with the Finance Committee with sufficient time to allow the Finance Committee to review and make its recommendations on capital requests.
Right.
So,
You already did that, Don?
I did.
but we needed
But we didn't
priorities.
give them the priority
needed
that they're asking
priorities.
for.
So the finance committee is making its independent recommendations on
Yes.
the capital.
Yes,
The approving authority for placing a warrant article is the Board of Selectmen.
absolutely.
And since we have the Board of Selectmen's representative here authoring the warrant, we can pretty well rely on our expectation that what we're discussing here will be on the warrant.
Yeah.
But the board could vote to remove anything it chose. So,
I see a conflict though. If we didn't approve or recommend
right,
for approval, and the finance committee did,
they
does
can do that. There's a provision in the capital article guide that says, where is it?
It just, again, causes debate at the town meeting, that's all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's basically you see that the.
Town meeting is not bound
Yes.
by our rules.
Nope.
Frankly, they're not even bound by the selectmen.
It's the United States of America,
The
and
only,
they're free to
the
vote
only,
their
the only thing they
choice.
can't do is they can't put a warrant article on that wasn't on there. It's the only thing town meeting can't do.
okay.
They can't create an article on the floor. They can amend something that's there, but they can't present something de novo. It has to already have been
Then-
on the notice of meeting in order for them to act on it.
Have we had that situation?
I always thought that the finance.
We did, actually. One night, Willie, in a very impassioned plea, demanded that the town meeting vote to grant $50,000 to dress up the grand old lady at the town hall. And in a spirit of movement, they all voted down. You can't do this. But they did it.
Was no article?
But was
No.
it? But it was it a legal appropriation?
Probably not, but
No.
nobody challenged it.
I thought our mission was to vet out the capital
It is.
request
Yeah.
and to add some validity to their needs.
Yes.
And the finance committee's role was to figure out the funding, and whether or not they could have put
The
the funding.
finance committee is also charged with making recommendations on all expenditures for town meeting. They are responsible for recommending financial matters. They're not an approving authority. The only authority they have to approve is the reserve fund transfer.
Yeah.
Other than that, they are making, if you read the bylaw, it says, the finance committee shall make recommendations on all articles and generally recommend on spending. I'm
Okay.
summarizing.
Say
So-
that again. We don't recommend on certain
I think
articles
it's
that
all
have nothing to do
articles.
with money. We don't.
Well, if you read the bylaw, it's
I will read it for you,
yeah,
but we don't.
it starts by saying all financial.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're an advisory board. Just something that's what it is.
I do think it also says in the margin of the warrant.
And the margin of the,
Reinforced by-
shall make its notations in the margin of the warrant,
Yeah.
which we deem to be that column that says
That column.
finance committee
Yeah.
recommends.
That's
So the appropriating authority is always town meeting,
Yeah.
unless you're getting a grant. And the recommendation of the finance committee is intended to be a stop check to say, do we really need to spend this money? And their job is to make that presentation to town meeting, which they do in the recommendations that appear in the finance committee recommends column.
Okay.
The selectmen may choose not to make a recommendation on things. The fact that it's on, I view the fact that the selectmen have placed the article on the warrant to be an indication that they don't find it so utterly appalling that they didn't remove it. I don't necessarily think it's a recommendation. But they can make recommendations. I think one year we actually did that. We had finance committee recommends and board of selectmen
Oh, I think
recommends.
I remember that painfully.
Non-mandated busing, yeah.
And we also had 2 articles too at that time.
Yep.
It was a night. It was the worst meeting I ever went to.
So how
And
does,
So
I
far.
think the post I was
So
going to
far.
kill him for convincing me that that was the way to go.
how does finance recommendations go when you have a dual budget?
Well, under our bylaw, the recommendation is the finance committee. That's the one that the town acts on.
But there's 2 columns. So
Yeah.
which one are they making the recommendation on? Is it all of one column or all of the
It's
other?
all of one column.
They're voting on the finance committee recommendations.
If you want to vote on a different recommendation, then you make a motion to amend. Because the way the moderator presents the warrant is that the finance committee will state at the beginning of the meeting that the finance committee recommendations is the amount that will be read and acted upon unless a motion is made to change that.
Correct, but we
It has to be in writing, handed to the moderator.
But we may have 2 columns. TA recommended with override, TA recommended without override.
Well, and then it's going to come
Oh,
down to
goodness.
which one the town votes on, because either of those would be an amendment to the finance
Finance
committee's
committee.
recommendation, unless the TA and the finance committee get together.
So with our organization, Fred is the appointment from the school.
No, Fred is the.
He absolutely is.
I
Justin, you
Oh,
saw
you're
the...
correct,
He
yeah.
is the school committee representative
Yeah.
to
Selectmen
Although
voted
he
into the
says he's
committee.
not.
Yeah, when the selectmen voted into the committee, we voted him in as.
You're the
the finance committee
I
representative.
thought Fred was appointed as a member at large.
Fred thinks he is, but
Fred
if you go to
thinks he
the...
is.
If you go
I
to the...
think I remember him being appointed.
We
as a member.
researched this.
After
I
we
think we need one more member. I think we
We
still
do.
have an
One
open position.
After
right?
we reconfigured the committee in whatever 2021, 2022, the
Right.
selectmen appointed Fred as the school committee
There's
representative.
YouTube,
Yeah.
YouTube evidence of it, Fred.
Because I believe I asked the town administrator directly, is he being appointed as a member at large or as the school committee representative?
That was Lincoln
It was
Heineman's
Lincoln at the
day.
time, yeah.
I think there was a subsequent act of appointment where Fred sought the appointment of an open
I
seat.
need to see the minutes of that
And
meeting
I
because
have
I've
to look at
researched.
that.
Because if
Dawn
Fred
would
is
have that in her records.
if Fred is not the school representative, then the 9th member of this committee should be a representative from the schools.
Well, we need to have somebody from the
So
school.
the school, committee member is a
He's a
non-voting.
non-voting member.
So liaison.
No. There is, just like I can
That's
vote as the
Article 15.
finance committee member, there is also a school committee. Read the article. It talks
Oh.
about
It's
a member of the school
Correct,
committee
yeah,
as
of the
appointed by
9.
the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, then there's a separate representative from the district.
A representative from the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District shall be appointed by the district to serve as a liaison to the committee, but that person does not vote. However, the person appointed by the Board of Selectmen to serve as the school committee representative is serving the same role as I am as the finance committee.
Yeah.
Good to know, maybe we'll get somebody next time.
I think we are one person shy, and it's okay if we have another school committee. I think Fred wants to be a voting member.
At large.
I think he does, and I think, we should, it would be nice to have somebody from the school district here that can answer some of these questions and bring it back to the school committee to get some of this pertinent information
I
that
completely agree with you.
we've always been asking for.
I try to serve that role as the finance committee, that I vote, but I
Yeah.
also report back to Rick, this is
Sure.
what we've done. And I
Sure.
bring information to you, this is what the finance
Yeah,
committee is
yeah.
concerned about.
It's
And that's what, I believe that's what Fred should do, because I believe Fred is
But he
the
has
school committee
refused.
representative.
I think Fred doesn't want that role. I think Fred wants
But
to
he
be
was
a
appointed.
voting member.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's the role he was appointed to, based on YouTube evidence. And until I see something different,
Well,
to the point that Fred wants to be the person at large, that's fine, Fred, but as far as I'm concerned, you are the school committee representative.
Well, I
And
think we're coming close to the end of the season for us, so I think these
Clean
things
this
we
up.
need to clean up.
Clean this up.
We can
You know-
see how he's on file with the town clerk's office, whether he is the 3-year at-large term or...
Take a look at the annual report. He's the school committee representative.
There you go.
Now, that report would have been printed a year ago, January, and I think it changed.
In what way did it change?
I think he was no longer a school representative and sought an appointment as a...
I remember him saying that in this meeting.
He's-
I seem to remember, I don't have an absolute memory, but I seem to remember him requesting to be appointed as a member at large.
I don't remember that.
I do.
He may have
I
requested it,
remember
but
that
is that how he was appointed? That's my argument with Fred, and I've said it to his face, that he is the school
No,
representative.
I think the board acted on that.
Can you show me the minutes when that took place?
I'm sure we can once we track it
Because
down.
I have certainly spent hours scouring.
I can make a motion.
Do I make mistakes? Yes, but I
We'll
spent
revisit
hours
that. I'm making a
scouring.
motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Not a problem.
One last thing. So, I think I do want to clean that up going forward to next session or next year. I would like to probably have one of you guys take the role of the chair next season after this is complete. I still want to be an acting member, but I've got a lot on my plate, external from here.
You absolutely do.
So I think it's fair. This needs a lot of attention, and it would be nice if somebody else would give it their efforts for a period of time. So just putting it out there, going forward. But I do think we need an extra member too. Whether it's a school person, reassign Fred, or however it is. I think we're lucky to have Fred volunteer his time.
I agree,
We don't want to force him
absolutely.
into a role that he's not comfortable with. So I think whatever role we can get out of him, we ought to be grateful.
I
And,
completely agree.
we'll take a different person from the district. I just want to close up with that.
So as I look at this amended article, I'll call it a charter, requires both a appointed member of the school committee to be appointed by the Board of Selectmen and a liaison to be appointed by the school committee.
Yep.
Correct.
And this states in the annual report of 2022 that Fred Small is the Whitman-Hanson Regional High School representative, and his Term starts in 2021 and ends in 2024. Dave Cordero, whose place I took, was the Finance Committee representative, and his term started in 2021 and it is indefinite. So if there's something after this annual report that indicates that Fred's position changed, I'd like evidence of that. I have nothing but the best respect for Fred.
No, I
I
get
know
what
he
you're
gets
saying.
up, but
Dave-
if we
Dave
don't have a
was
school
this
committee,
chair for a period of time.
Yeah.
It was
Dave was?
Dave?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right after you left,
Yes.
it was Dave and me.
yes.
but if there is no school committee
But I believe
representative,
that
then we need one.
happened sometime in the last year and a half, that Fred sought an appointment for an open.
I will be reading minutes until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we
And if I
should be able to
find it,
find
Frank, I'll send you an email at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We should be able to find it. Dawn would have a record of the vote.
Yeah, clerk would have a record.
It would be in her recorded votes.
Fine. Yeah,
I mean, we saved them too. It would be a lot easier for her to find
Yeah,
it.
spare yourself the minutes.
I clearly have a lot of time on my hands.
All right, I heard a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Yeah, which we totally ignored. It's not debatable.
It sounded like getting
Thank you
warm.
all.
All right.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous.
Thank